y'all? It's your girl, Carolina Teague, and this is episode 11 of League of Our Own podcast. Welcome back. It is October 26, 2022, and I'm here at VodPod Studios with my guy, radio husband, and producer, Gylan Jackson, making sure everything is running smoother than olive oil on a baby's behind. Lots to get into today. We got Aaron Donald left Donda Sports after Kanye's comments, but Antonio Brown chooses to stay. Are the Spurs for real? We got my gambling pick of the week, Cowboys versus Bears. And of course, we're going to do rapid fire and this and that. But first, we have our very, very special in-studio guest host today. I have my guy with me, Michael Jimenez from the San Antonio Sports Star, host of Halftime. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. A little bit scared, to be honest with you, because I'm not on my home turf. I'm on your home turf right now. So, and I know that you and Gylan are going to be giving it to me today.
We want you to be you, okay? We don't want you to think that we're here to attack you, okay? This is not
a safe space.
Yeah, this is a safe space.
I doubt it.
We want you to be yourself, okay? Now, whether that leads to something bad or good, we don't know yet. But we got to do the honorary cowbell. Gylan, how are you doing today, first of all?
Oh, you recognize that I'm here now.
Yeah. I was like,
I'm here. So hold on. Let's let the people see that I'm actually on camera here.
Okay.
So hey, everybody. See what happens with you all because it's a different shot now.
Okay. It's okay. It's
so they won't be seeing a lot of me today. They'll be seeing more. There you go.
Just talk to
That's
the
perfect.
just
That's
talk to the mic. Just talk to the mic, and we got you'll be Zordon today.
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm excited to have Michael Jimenez here. You know, Lord of Team Tank. So we got to figure that out, dude. We can't root for losers.
What's going on with that? We need to know what's going on with the Team Tank thing. As you know, I think you're the conductor of the Team Tank hate train.
Yeah,
Okay.
James Pledger and I both are co-captains.
Co-captains. Okay, you got two people at the captain of Team Tank, and Gylan, he speaks for people who are not a part of Team Tank. Okay, so what is going on with Team Tank? Now, first of all, I get why people are doing Team Tank. It's because of the Victor Wembanyama stuff. Everybody wants him, right?
Well, it's beyond him. I mean, Scoot Henderson's very good as well. It's considered to be one of the deepest and best drafts since 2003, the LeBron James draft, with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and Carmelo Anthony. So you want to get a superstar. And right now, the Spurs have some pretty good young talent, but they need a superstar. And unless that superstar is already on the roster, you need to get that through the draft.
My thing is this. Let me ask you a quick question, because I feel like you're more than just Team Tank, okay? There's more to you. You are the host of Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, and I want to know a little bit more about your journey, because you and I were both Rock the Mic champions.
Yeah.
So we're brother and sister, right? First of all, how did you even think about that competition? What made you even want to get into it? I never kind of knew your background on how you got into the competition. What made you want to win?
Yeah, so when I did Rock the Mic, I had wanted to do it in the 2 years prior. But every time it came around, I found an excuse not to do it. Maybe work came up or something like that. And I remember the year that I won, which I believe was 2019, I told my wife, I'm going to do it this year. I don't know what it's about, have no idea what it's about, but I'm going to do it this year. And I would hear the commercials, come out to Slackers, do your audition. And I missed the first 2 or 3 for whatever reason. And I remember going home from work and hearing a commercial, Jason Minnick's going on there saying, this is your last night to audition, head over to Slackers. It was the one on the northeast side. And I remember just driving, and I literally just exited, turned around, and I went straight to Slackers. And I show up, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to audition, not really knowing what the rules are. But I thought to myself, you know what? I'll watch other people audition, and I'll get kind of an idea of what we're doing here. But I was the second person brought on. So they just said, hey, you've got 45 seconds to a minute and a half. Just give a take. Just give a sports take. And I remember doing my take, and at the end of it, not knowing if I had done well or not. And James Pledger, first words he ever said to me, he goes, I've heard worse. And I was like, okay. And I made it to the top 12. And as the guys told me back at the station, I was 12th out of 12. And then when they narrowed it down to 8, I was 8th out of 8. And when they narrowed it down to 6, I was 6th out of 6. I was always the one who was on the
You were the
good side
brink
of
of
the,
getting
of the
cut off.
line. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was the bubble boy. But when it all came down to it, it all changed with the voting because we had to go out there and get votes, and we had to beg friends and coworkers and family members and Facebook friends to vote for us, people on Twitter. And one night I decided that I was going to actually just hit the town and look for votes, and I started live tweeting it. Just tweet after tweet after tweet of me at various bars introducing myself like I'm a politician, asking people to vote, exchanging karaoke ideas in return for a vote. Like, I'll karaoke whatever song you want if I can get a vote from everybody on this table. And I was doing that, and it caught the attention of everybody at the station. Then the in-person interview on air went very well. And it was at that point when I realized, I was like, wait a minute, I have a chance of winning this thing. And when my name was called, I was surprised.
Wow. So you went from being on the brink of getting cut off to actually winning. So how many votes did you get altogether? Like, do you remember, like, kind of like a ballpark area?
It was in the thousands, but it wasn't anywhere near yours.
Yeah, I had a crap ton.
Yeah, you had like 11 or 12,000.
How many did Carolina have?
I had 11,000.
So this is what I want to know, though. If you would have delayed it for one more year and put off your dream, then would you all gone head to head or the year before?
No, he was gonna go 2 years ago, the year that I won. So
Right.
we would have gone head to head 2 years ago.
So who would have won?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Me? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
don't doubt it.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't doubt it.
I'm just messing with you. You know what? I'm happy that you're my brother, though, and I'm happy things happen for a reason. And it's crazy that you said that. I don't want to talk about myself, but it's crazy that you said that you barely made it. That's my story too. I barely put on my pants and got there the last day, the last hour. I wasn't gonna do it, and then how it changed your life.
Yeah, it has changed my life, and it's very interesting because I am blessed to have two careers right now. I know there are a lot of people out there who struggle, and I've been there before, man. I've struggled in the past. I went through a bad divorce many years ago and hit rock bottom emotionally, professionally, financially. And I'm in a very, very good place now. So I've experienced the struggles and I've experienced the positive sides of things. My business survived COVID, which is great. And right now I am thriving on both. And it's a blessing to wake up every morning and go to the radio station and have a job that a lot of people would want to have. So I don't take it for granted. But it's funny because, it's a big blessing. I get it. I just don't want to take it for granted. And I've enjoyed every moment that I've been out there. Monday is my 1-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
halftime.
Congratulations. And it's well deserved too, because you've put in a lot of hard work.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And here's the thing, like, you're in finance, right? And I'm in finance too. I know it could be very, very overwhelming, right? Do you ever feel like you're blessed? Because I have my moments, so I feel blessed, I feel grateful, but I also feel very overwhelmed. Do you ever get that feeling sometimes that you can be overwhelmed, even though everything is great because you asked for it? But do you ever have those times where you're just tired?
Yeah, fortunately I had a business trip to Philadelphia last week. And that kind of gave me a chance to recharge because I got away from my financial practice, which is, retirement planning, insurance planning, and stuff like that. I got away from that for a while, got away from the radio for 3 or 4 days, and it allowed me to kind of recharge my batteries a little bit. But I don't want to take any of it for granted. I mean, I wake up every morning knowing that I'm blessed, and I hit the ground running. Every morning at 6 a.m., I'm off and running doing something. I'm working on my business, answering emails. I'm making my kids breakfast. I'm taking them to school. I come back, I start working on the show. I head to the station. I'm calling clients. I'm working on the show. I'm doing the show. I'm writing a column, coming back, and then I'm working with my clients again. And it's on repeat. But it's a huge blessing to have both careers, both of them thriving right now, that I can't complain. Even though it makes me tired, and even though at the end of the week I'm exhausted, it's a blessing, and I'm not gonna I'm not going to take it for granted.
Yeah, and I'm giving you that credit because I'm in the same boat, right? I know exactly how tiring it can get, but you do it on a grander scale because you have a show Monday through Friday. You have to prepare every single day for a show that's 2 hours, and I don't think people realize how hard it is to prep. I drive Kanye Crazy for a 1 hour show each week. And it's just a 1 hour show each week. So I can only imagine.
But you got a 1 hour show. You got kids. You write. You're the Spurs insider for Sports Star.
Yeah,
you got an internship. Like you're doing all kind of. You got a husband.
I got
a whole husband.
A whole ass husband.
Yeah, you got a whole husband.
That too. You got a whole ass wife.
I have a wife.
You got
and
a
3
whole
kids.
ass kids.
3 kids as well. And the thing
You got 3 kids?
I have 3 kids.
That's a lot.
You need a TV in the bedroom, dog.
You know what they say when you have 3 kids? It's like your mind is they have a picture of an egg, and the first kid, your egg is normal. Second kid, your egg is a little cracked, and the third egg, your egg is totally fried.
Yeah, and all 3 kids are different from each other, but one of them is out of the house already in college over at LSU. But going back to the show, it's different because the way that I have to design the show, I'm primarily by myself. I have guests. Like today we had Coach GJ Kenny from Incarnate Word. I have you on, Jeff Garcia from Donda Spurs. Pleasure will come on. So I have guests that come on, but primarily 75-80% of the show is on my own. And that takes a different type of planning for the show because I don't have someone to kind of banter with when it comes to things. So I have to make it a little bit more interesting than just giving a random take. I come at the show wanting to not only entertain, but I also want to inform and bring up a little bit something different that someone else may not have brought up.
Which is not easy.
And I want to make my show different than R&R in the Morning, which is on before me. They do a fantastic job. But I don't want it to be, Control C, Control V, just completely copy and paste what they're doing. I want it to be completely different and come from a different point of view.
And it's not easy to do.
No.
It's not easy to do. So props to you for holding it all together. You got a whole ass family. You got a whole ass career on the side. And then you got a whole ass show. So you got a lot of things going on. Yeah, a lot of asses. That's a lot of ass. Okay, you got a lot of ass right now. So I was gonna say another thing we wanted to know because people come to me all the time. They confide in me things, and I am like, I don't know what to tell you, right? But you're here right now, so we need to know. People ask me all the time, the whole Team Tank thing, the whole it seems like you're kind of Mr. Opposite Opinion sometimes. Is that a bit the movie reviews? People think that your movie reviews are purposefully planted so that way you can rile up the crowd. Isn't that like Guyland?
Yeah. I mean, it seems sometimes like you're contrary just for being contrary, right?
You're contrarian.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's a cool bit, but and literally and I hate it. I like you, but if it's a bit, it's pretty damn good because you get people to call in, you get people upset, right?
Well, that's the thing.
Are you purposefully a contrarian? I don't think you are, but I want to know what people think.
I love Rudy J. Rudy J loves being the contrarian. So does James Pledger. And Pledger does it to antagonize me. Rudy J doesn't do it to antagonize me. Rudy J will do it because he has a different perspective or he's trying to bring up something that maybe we're not looking at. I am completely honest in the show. If I'm coming at and giving a take, it's not contrived. One of the things I don't do is think to myself, what would get people to call in? What would get people to want to like me or want to hate me? I never do any of that.
Right.
Believe me. And you know what? A lot of the hot takes that I make are thought of on the spot,
right?
Where I didn't even think about it. It just suddenly happened. Now, when it comes to the movie reviews, Wednesday at 1:30,
that's real quick.
All legit. That is all legit.
So your bad movie reviews are your bad movie reviews?
Yeah, I'm not lying or trying to get a rise out of people when it comes to things. And people have come up to me like, there's no way in the world that Class of 95, Holmes Husky, missed this movie. And I'm like, I did. I'm sorry, because growing up, all I did was watch sports. WWOR, WGN, TBS. I was watching Cubs, Mets. I was watching the Braves.
You were watching sports.
I was watching Spurs, the Oilers. I was watching sports 24/7 growing up. You know, ask me like starting lineups from the 80s, and I could probably name them, right? I remember I got to meet Warren Moon earlier this year, and as a fanboy, it was one of the first times I ever met an athlete where I was a fanboy. And I just kind of started.
Cry?
I know. I started naming the '93 roster. I was like, that was my team.
And all Warren Moon would do was talk about movies, right? and you're there talking like, hey, this is I grew up in Houston, huge Houston Oilers fan.
Yeah.
Can't stand the Cowboys. But I'm not rooting against them this year. I'm just not rooting for them. But the beautiful thing is that to meet a part of NFL history, Warren Moon is a part of NFL history. He would have been the all-time passing leader if he would have played in the NFL and the Canadian Football League, if he would have come straight in.
Right.
So what black quarterbacks go through now, Warren Moon went through times 10, but at the time he signed the largest contract for an NFL quarterback. It's an amazing story.
He's a great story. He was a very nice guy. We met him at Radio Row during the Super Bowl week, the lead up to the Super Bowl in LA. And it was so fascinating, him looking at me and Joe Reinagle. We were both huge Oiler fans back in the day. Him saying, I just wanted one chance against the Cowboys. We were built to beat the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. And the more I think about it, he's right. They really were. You know, teams like Buffalo were not, you know, the Steelers, they weren't built to beat the Dallas Cowboys, but I think the Houston Oilers had a legit chance.
And so you fanboyed, right?
Yeah.
Did you cry? Like, did you say, I am your biggest fan? Like, did you try to hide it?
No, I
Like,
held it back a little bit.
You did? Okay.
But it was one of the few times that I had heart palpitations meeting an athlete. I was like, oh my God, that is Warren freaking
And you took a picture,
Moon.
right?
Did take a picture with him.
You did take a picture, yeah.
It was a great week out there, but going back to the movie reviews, by the way, everyone asking the question, are you serious you've never seen this? I am being honest with it. And one time, my wife wanted to watch a movie. She wanted to watch the movie Better Off Dead, right? With John Cusack, you know, $2, that movie, right? And she was like, let's watch that movie. You could do a review on it on Wednesday. And I was like, babe, I've already seen that movie. I saw the movie growing up. It's a John Hughes movie. And she's like, well, just say that you haven't done that. And I was like, oh my God. No, the integrity of that segment. So even my wife was looking at me like, wait a minute, all these movies you've never seen before. How did you never? So now I'm getting it from her. But last night I got to watch Halloween for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And
can I say something? You know this about me and you. I trust your movie reviews because I too didn't watch movies growing up. So I take your movie reviews seriously, and everybody tells me not to. Right, Guylan? Like, I don't think you want me to take his movie reviews pretty seriously. Because I don't.
For movie reviews now.
Yeah, but that's what everybody tells me. But I'm like, well, I don't watch movies, so I'm going to take his movie review seriously.
No, that's what Michael does. It's a great bit for sports talk radio. I don't know if I've heard anybody that does like a weekly movie review. And sometimes you have to watch, 2 and 3 movies sometimes, right?
You know, I'll watch one movie every Tuesday. But do you know where I got the idea, by the way? I'm a big fan of The Ringer, right? And Grantland before that. That was Bill Simmons back in the day. He has a segment called The Rewatchables. And I saw him come out with this segment, and all of these movies that he was saying that you should watch. And I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I have never seen any of these movies. So instead of being the rewatchables, I was the unwatchables because I had not seen any of these movies. So I kind of went the opposite direction of, as opposed to watching the same movie 100 times, why not go back in time and watch a movie that you've never seen? I've kind of calculated that I can go on with this segment for about 2 more years. But what I want to do is, and this is kind of in early talks right now, what I want to do is do a live event, maybe once a month or every 2 months, where we can all watch the movie together.
Oh, that's
at
nice.
a Santikos or something like that. Rent out a theater, and I'll watch a movie for the first time. But everyone keeps telling me the Transformer movies are a no-go.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'm still debating it.
One last question before we get into, because we got to talk sports, right?
Yeah.
We got to get into the topics. So Rudy J's a contrarian. You're a contrarian naturally, right?
Pretty much.
Pledger's a natural contrarian. do I have to be a contrarian so I can get a spot? Like, is that gonna work for me? Like, you think like I could slide my way in?
Well, no,
if
it
I'm a
can't be
contrarian?
contrived. You have to like just it be your second nature to have that type of opinion.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, so I have to be like, but yeah, so it's not my second nature.
Right.
So am I screwed?
Well, well, no, because on the other side at San Antonio Sports Star, we have Rob Thompson, we have Jason Minix, who are very direct in their line of thinking, which is fantastic, and which is great, which is why Rob and Rudy do well together, is because they're not the same. They have different, and that's why I like doing shows with Rob a lot, because we're different. And sometimes I piss off Reinagel because we're different. It's just basically not being the same as the person that you're with. It's being a little bit different than the person.
Also, I think that's why we got really well,
Right?
Because we were different. We
Yeah.
weren't the same. That makes sense. That makes total sense. Now that
we're
I'm
both
thinking.
from San Antonio. So.
We're both from San Antonio. We're both
what's
Hispanic.
really interesting about the station is there's really a bunch of different personalities. If you look across the board at some stations, it seems like everybody is very similar. They have similar sports takes, but you really, it's almost like the hodgepodge of sports over there.
It is, and I think the interesting thing is that I don't know what the Blitz is doing, and I don't know what R&R in the morning's doing, and they don't know what I'm doing, and we don't cross-pollinate. So the shows are kind of organic on their own. We're not trying to feed. Well, sometimes we feed off each other, because sometimes we'll be listening to the other show and go, wow, that was a great point. Maybe I'll expand on that.
Right.
And we do that all the time. And I'm usually fodder for Minix and Reinagel, where they like to make fun of me, which is fantastic. I think it's hysterical. But, you know, sports talk radio is interesting. You know, I grew up with sports talk radio. Jim Rome was like my guy. I loved Jim Rome growing up.
Jim Rome was the man.
With the guy, he jumped across the table to beat his ass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit older than
Jim Everett.
Yeah, Jim Everett.
I'm a little bit older than both of you all, but I remember like when Jim Rome was nobody.
Oh yeah,
like he was just, he didn't get into his shtick, but he was until a couple of years, he's kind of gotten boring to me.
It's different. It's just, it got a little bit old. You know, you had Jim Rome. There was JT the Brick back in the day. I was really into that. You know, back in the day when I would listen to a lot of the other station, you know, Mike Taylor and whatnot. I have a lot of respect for all of those guys because they're all doing something different. And I want to create kind of like a Venn diagram, you know, those little circles of like who listens to who. Like if you like this person, that means you like this person, which means you like this person.
That's your nerdy side coming
That's
out.
the nerdy side. The person in the middle, though, is Rudy J. Because I think Rudy J kind of stitches everything together. There's nobody who hates Rudy J when it comes to sports talk radio.
Huh? Have you ever heard somebody hate Rudy J in sports talk radio? No.
Well, I've heard him have takes that people hate.
Yeah.
And you get some stuff that kind of comes out.
Yeah.
But no, nobody has a reason that's legit to hate Rudy J except their own personal ignorance.
So like, yeah, exactly. That's very true.
Rudy's the one sports talk radio guy here in town where it goes well with whatever show. You could say, oh, I like Rudy J and I like Mike Taylor. I like Rudy J and I like Jason Minix. I like Rudy J and I like Mike Jimenez. It all makes sense because it's kind of like, he's like blue jeans. It goes with everything. He's, you know, it's just, it's just awesome.
Yeah. He is like blue jeans. It does go with everything. I agree. So let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you something later on. I don't know. Should we just get into sports?
Well, jump into the topics. I mean, we're at 7:19 right now.
Oh crap! We got to jump into the topics. Now we're here at sports. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's jump into the topics. All right, I already talked to you for too damn long.
All right.
About your life. Okay,
Let's talk sports.
Let's talk sports. Let's get into it. All right. So the first thing I want to tell you is Kanye West. Recently, he made some anti-Semitic comments, which is like anti-Jewish comments.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. And those comments put a lot of pressure on companies to pretty much sever all ties with him. They had Adidas. They got rid of Adidas. Adidas severed ties with Kanye, and Kanye said that was never going to happen. Kanye has Yeezys. And by the way, my husband found 12 pairs of Yeezys recently. And he's actually going to we think that the stock's going to go up. So we'll talk about if we think the stock's going to go up. But Donda Sports, he has a sports partnership with people too. Aaron Donald, who was under Donda Sports, cut ties with him. Jaylen Brown cut ties with him too. However, Antonio Brown, former player for the Steelers. He said he was going to stay as president of Donda Sports. He said he was going to stick with Kanye no matter what. What are your thoughts on these players severing ties with Kanye? And, what do you feel about
Antonio Brown coming in with the "I'm still with you, a waffle," and then getting shot, right? So the two players you mentioned, Jaylen Brown, Aaron Donald, were the only two athletes that Donda Sports had on their roster. So now they're down to 0. Adidas had to do this. They had to do it, okay? Because, and I'm not big into cancel culture and whatnot, but there's certain things you don't say and certain things you don't do.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, Kanye West, as great as he is a 40-something-year-old rapper. Maybe things would have been different if he was 20, 22. They could look by. But the fact of the matter is that, when it comes to these companies and what they're trying to attract, they're trying to attract the dollars of those who are between the ages of 16 through 34, 16 to 40. And a lot of people right now who are Gen X, baby boomers, you have to understand, corporations don't care what you think anymore. You're not hip anymore. I'm not hip anymore. You're slowly, Carolina, not going to be hip anymore.
Oh, my gosh.
You're going to phase out of what the key demographic is going to be.
Do not speak that into my life, okay?
It's going to happen.
I'm going to stay hip
Well,
forever.
wait, so he's going to fade out, but Kanye West still had another 5 to 7, maybe 10 years in him. I mean, he releases music. People love it. Like
everything he says pretty much is talked about everywhere. No matter
but he's
what.
controversial. He's a
contrarian.
No, he's not a contrarian.
He's like contrarian.
He's got serious issues.
He's got issues.
He's got serious issues.
Okay, so is he okay? Does he need medication?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
chances are he's off of it, right? I know people who have mental health issues who take medication, and I know I've seen the difference between them being on it and them being off of it. Now, I know a lot of artists will sometimes want to be medicated in a way, whether it be through drugs or alcohol or whatnot, to create their art, especially musicians.
Yeah, exactly.
But what he's doing right now is not making music. And he's not doing anything to draw attention to himself in a positive way. There's no right way to spin this, and there's no right way for him to profit off of this. What he is doing is he's taking a knife to his own brand. And because of that, he needs to understand that his empire is built not only on himself, but also the partnerships he has with these other companies. The day that he made those remarks and the day that Adidas dropped him was the day he was no longer considered a billionaire. Right? It was gone. And Adidas looked at this and said, we might lose up to $240 million. And it was worth it to them to ditch Kanye. And then Jaylen Brown coming out saying, I'm still with you, Kanye. And then 24 hours later coming back and saying,
I take it back.
Take it back. I got to go.
You know what I think, Jimenez, about this situation? When I first heard that Jaylen Brown was cutting ties with Donda Sports and Aaron Donald was cutting ties with Donda Sports and Antonio Brown was staying with Donda Sports, the first thing that went through my mind was, what the fuck is Donda Sports? What the fuck is that?
Well, it was a brand new brand.
I never heard of that shit. I've heard of Clutch Sports. I know that. That's a
well,
huge...
isn't Donda his mother's name?
I know who Donda is. I know it's his wife, his mom, that passed away.
Right.
But I'm like, yo, I never thought that. Like, I never even heard of Donda Sports. I like you don't. You
yeah,
think,
no. I mean, I thought you were a pop culture queen. How do you not know about Donda Sports?
I didn't know, but I know about Sire Spirits with 50 Cent. I know
50 Cent.
50, yeah, exactly. So you don't know about that, right? You don't know that 50 Cent has a liquor company.
Well, listen. At the end of the day,
that's with the Astros.
At the end of the day, Kanye only had 2 athletes signed that we know of.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said, what the fuck is that? I was thinking Clutch Sports, LeBron, then you have DeJounte.
Sure.
You think of these big sports agencies, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But when I heard Kanye has a sports agency, I didn't even know that. And I was like, damn, he's losing everything. Because I didn't even know he had a sports agency. He is losing everything. Even TJ Maxx said they're not gonna put Yeezys in.
They're not selling used Yeezys?
Yeah, no. I was waiting to find those in Ross. That's not gonna happen. So, that's what I thought. I just thought, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is Donda Sports?
And to think about it, he may have only had 2 athletes, but he had two very good
athletes.
Aaron Donald, arguably the best defender in the NFL, and then you have Jaylen Brown, who's just like 25 years old.
Can we also talk about how they signed under Donda Sports, knowing that Antonio Brown is the president?
Okay, is that a real thing?
Not being criticized either? Yes.
Is that a real thing?
Well, no, because can we trust anything that Antonio Brown says?
That's what I'm saying. So you make him the president, and then
he said he was the president. I haven't seen that.
No, he actually is the president. This is verifiable.
So you verified it?
Yes, he is. He was the actual. He wanted to remain the president. He's the actual president. Antonio Brown, the one that everybody criticized for CTE. And no judgment, CTE. I don't want to drag him for that, but Antonio Brown, after all the things he's been through in sports, he was the president of Donda Sports, and Aaron Donald and Jaylen Brown are going to sign under Donda Sports. Maybe that was their reason to leave, and they just needed one. That's where I'm at with that. Ramon Mata says he's a controversial hypocrite, hates the system but played the system to get his bag. Everybody's saying that too. And Frank Valdez says Skechers even told him we're good. See, he's losing everything. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Kanye comes back. We don't know. But anyways, I just wanted to say that. I just what is Donda Sports? That's where I was at. Now, are the Spurs for real? Now, I know you had asked me this yesterday on
It's called halftime. It's called
halftime.
There you go.
Yeah.
You've been on there before.
Yeah,
Tuesdays with Teague.
Tuesdays with Teague. I was gonna say Tuesdays with Teague, but I'm so I'm so. Sometimes I have mental drags, right? So I forgot.
Happens to the best of us.
I'm a Spurs analyst for Sports Star, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I am. Okay. We had a segment. Are the Spurs for real? You asked me what my thoughts were. And I told you I can't make an assessment because we're not 20% into the season. And we have the game tonight that's probably going on right now with the Minnesota Timberwolves, Antonio Spurs, Devin Vassell's out.
Update on the Spurs game.
What's the score?
25-18, Spurs are down.
Okay, Spurs are down. First quarter? Second quarter? Where we at?
First quarter, 4 minutes left.
Yes.
Okay.
Spurs are punting this game away. There's no Devin Vassell, no Josh Primo.
Right. Are they for real? Now let me turn it back to you. What's your answer?
It's still unknown. I thought tonight's game was going to be a big indicator as to whether or not they're for real, because Minnesota was playing off a back-to-back. Mm-hmm. And, the Spurs went out there, got up like 35 points and just ran them out of the gym. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, they're going to play each other again. 2 days later, both teams rested. What would happen then? Because you would think, okay, the T-Wolves will make some adjustments. Can the Spurs adjust to those adjustments? Mm-hmm. And then you hear Vassell's out with a sore knee. Mm-hmm. Then you hear that Primo is out. So it's kind of hard to make an assessment right now. The Spurs aren't back yet, but they are feisty. And they're utilizing and they're sticking to their youth. What can they do well? What they can do well is the fact that they have 5 19-year-olds there, and everyone else is 20, 21, 22, 23, which means they all have legs. And it's just waves and waves of people just swarming the ball. And that's hard to keep up for 82 games. Mm-hmm. It really is. Are they back? I can't say that. We can't say that. They beat the Bucks, the defending champions, in October of last year, and they weren't back then. So why would they be back now? We're seeing positive things, though. Devin Vassell now averaging almost 20 points per game. Keldon Johnson north of 20 points per game. Trey Jones, who would have thought he'd be doing so well so early? Sohan finally had a good offensive game in the last game against Minnesota. So, when I take a look at the Spurs team, there's some positives there. But what I'm enjoying is the fact that our trade pieces are looking really good right now. Doug McDermott,
Josh Richardson,
Jakob Poeltl,
Yeah.
Poeltl and Richardson on expiring deals. Doug McDermott, not too expensive. Mm-hmm. So if the Spurs did want to ship those pieces out for first rounders down the road, well, they can do so. Mm-hmm. So I think this is actually a very good thing for those who are not Team Tank, but those who are, well, at the very least, that the Spurs have some good pieces there that they could offer other teams for potential picks down the road.
Mm-hmm. Those are great pointers. Are the Spurs for real? Time will tell, right? My thing is, I'm sad Josh Primo's out today because I really wanted to gauge whether Devin Vassell is a vital piece to the puzzle, which he is. But I wanted to see, will they lose without Devin Vassell? Because Devin Vassell basically was non-existent until the third quarter in the first game. And then He had 3 great games in the middle. Spurs won all 3. I wanted to see if he was out today and they'd end up losing. So I was like, put my money on the Timberwolves because Devin Vassell's out. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm going to be on the air with you tomorrow, right?
That's right.
And around noontime. We don't have an official time yet, but I'm going to be on and we're going to be talking about the game. I already have it recorded to watch it when I get home. Trust me. Anyways, let me talk to you about this real quick. Now, what the hell? Oh.
Well, hold up. Carolina told me to keep the energy.
Uh-huh.
I cannot go, and you will see it, not all the time, but you will see hashtag team turd. Because I'm not going with team tank. We're not tanking. There's no way. I cannot in good conscience as a sports fan root for my favorite team to lose.
There was a great point on part of the interruption yesterday. Michael Kornheiser was saying that your team is tanking if they trade their best player, if they have one of the lowest payrolls, and they have a super young team. If all 3 things are happening, the organization's tanking. But that doesn't mean that the players are. Because the players have pride and they're going to go out there and try their best. But the Spurs, I hate to say it, are setting themselves up for failure, or at least to have a bad season. But the players, as of now, are overcoming that.
So is the Spurs organization turds then, Gylan? Because
I can listen. I respect the Spurs organizations. We had a great 20-year run. I'm down believing that it's going to be another 5 to 10 years before we have a run like that, if we ever do again. Anybody thinking that we can live where we were before with the Spurs and have a 20-year run of going to the playoffs, 5 championships, we're not that. We're not that anymore.
It takes 2 stars to be relevant in the NBA, 3 to be a contender.
And where are they coming from?
Well, I mean, do we have 1 or 2 on the roster right now?
What's our percentage? What's our percentage chance of them getting the bouncing ball number 1 pick?
If they're 1, 2, or 3, it's 14%.
14%. After that, it's 25, right?
Well, it's 14% for the top 3. The 4th team gets it at about 12.5%. The 5th team at about 11, and then about 9% for the one who is 6th. So Adam Silver mentioned that commissioner of the NBA was talking about that, how the NBA has made it so that it's not incentivizing teams to lose,
right?
By reducing the chance of making it. I mean, if you have the worst record in the NBA, right? The worst record in the NBA, it's still a coin flip as to whether or not you're in the top 4 anyway.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. So it's
my question is,
it's kind of
Michael, you I've seen your wife. I'm not speaking out of turn. You have a beautiful wife. I'm very happy for you, sir. You look very happy.
But
if you knew you had a 14% chance, if you knew you had a 14% chance of marrying your wife or staying with your wife, would you take that chance?
All day, every day.
So that's why he's team tank then.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
My wife is the Wemby of wives.
Oh, that is so sweet.
I love that girl like crazy.
That is so sweet.
He does. I can tell you do.
Yeah,
I can tell you do.
So you would have tanked for your wife.
Yes.
He tanked for his wife.
Okay. Cowbell to us getting content for a Spurs season. That's what. So anyways, let me just go ahead and say this, guys. I have something else to ask y'all. We got gambling picks.
Yeah. Okay. So you got to talk about your gambling picks last time.
I was wrong.
You picked the over.
I did. I was wrong with the over.
You were over, but you were right on the winner.
Correct.
I was correct on the under, but I picked the loser.
Correct. So we were both wrong.
Have 50%.
Okay. All right, Jimenez. Do you want to go first? We could go first. I could do this.
So we're just picking by spread or by who's going to win the game?
You could do over, under, points, whatever you'd like. But I want to know who you would pick for this Week 8's game. Cowboys versus Bears, which I'm really excited about this game, by the way.
Well, Cowboys are going to win this game. That I know for sure. But the last I saw, the spread was 9.5 points. And there's a possibility that Zeke Elliott might not play because Zeke missed practice today. Mm-hmm. He got hit really dirty in Sunday's game against the Lions. And now he was missing practice. They say he has to rehab a bit. Maybe he's not going to be 100%. Mm-hmm. So because of that, and because Dak is not fully back yet as far as arm strength, hand strength, I think the Bears cover the 9.5 points. Their quarterback finally did well this past week. So I would take the points with the Bears, but the Cowboys are going to win.
Okay, so my husband said the same thing. Points. He was going to go with that and Cowboys. What I would pick, the smart pick for me, is the Chicago Bears. They had a great offensive game for the first time. The first time since 2000 that they scored 33 points. Mm-hmm. Their highest scoring game since 2000, which shows you how bad their offensive line has been for a very, very long time. But then there was news today that one of their defensive players, who I think is great, Robert Quinn, he was traded to the Eagles. The Eagles, by the way.
The rich got richer.
Yeah, for a 4th-round pick. Now, don't get me started on how I think that's a terrible trade, because I am tired of the Chicago Bears having terrible round picks, 4th-round picks that maybe you can get a 3rd-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, something. They didn't have any 1st-round picks last year. So they do have a lot of cap space, and I know that's what they're making, cap space. They're going to have over $100 million. Great. Anyways, defense played really well, too, last week. Cowboys' defense is great, too. They're elite, I would say, because the only team that scored over 20 points is the Eagles when they play.
Yeah, the only team that I would say that's better than the Cowboys defensively right now, or that rivals them, is probably Buffalo and Philadelphia.
I think that you're pretty close when you talk about that, and the Chiefs too. Chiefs are pretty good all together.
With Buffalo, and who was the other one?
Philadelphia Eagles.
I'd put the San Francisco 49ers defense better than them too.
Yeah, the problem with the 49ers defense is that the offense doesn't do them any favors.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
The 49ers are fast.
Right. If the 49ers had a good offense, they would be 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
But because they don't, they kind of fall a little bit behind that.
I can't remove my fan hat for this game. So because of that, I'm going to go with the under. And the reason why I'm going to go with the under is because even though Justin Fields had a great breakout game on this past Monday, it was against the Patriots. And Cowboys defense is far more superior. And Dallas Cowboys, if they're out Ezekiel Elliott, it's going to be hard for them to score some points too, because I feel like the Dallas Cowboys have been really capitalizing off their ground game. You have the 1-2 punch with Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott, but Ezekiel Elliott can really get down into the end zone. I think he's the stronger, more athletic, bigger person who could get those touchdowns if need be. I'm going to go ahead and say under for the game.
Yeah, Pollard's the 20-20 guy. 20-yard line to 20-yard line. You get there, I make fun of Zeke because, Zeke is the highest paid running back out there, and he's maybe 3rd tier when it comes to being a running back. The guy's going to get 1,000 yards again this year, maybe up to 1,100. But inside the 3-yard line, inside the 2-yard line, that guy is elite at that. There's no other running back I would rather have at the 2-yard line than Zeke Elliott.
Also, too, you have Darnell Mooney, who's the Bears' best wide receiver, but then you also have Trayvon Diggs, and I'm thinking that they're going to put them against each other. Right. You're going to put Trayvon Diggs against Darnell Mooney.
No Jordan Lewis, though.
Oh, that too. I think my thing is what's going to happen? Are they going to get big stops? And I think it's possible that they're going to be able to get big stops against the Chicago Bears. And regardless of the outcome, I think it's going to be an under. That's where I'm at. Yeah. What about you, Gylan?
I am going to take, and that was it, 42.5. That's such a juicy little spot.
Yeah, I hate that.
That's a tough one, right? That's basically 21 points each and a field goal, and you're screwed. So
the Bears defense played good.
They did. Their top 20 Bears defense are at 15 right now. Cowboys defense is really good. The Chicago quarterback looks like he's learned how to play offense a little bit better. They're letting him run a little bit more.
And he's really good outside the pocket, scrambling. He's making really great.
Okay, I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take the Bears.
This is why I love you. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm your radio husband.
And we've seen that with the Cowboys when it comes to running quarterbacks, or at least quarterbacks who can run, whether it be Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts. They will get their yards. They will get their 50, 60, 70, 80 yards. And it's weird because it seems counterintuitive, but what the Eagles showed was you have to attack Micah Parsons.
Yes.
You can't run away from him.
Yes.
You have to run into the hurricane to see if you can get by him. And I thought that other teams have set that template, especially if the quarterback has the ability to act like a running back.
You know what I think about that game too? When we look at how they were able to stop Micah Parsons, I hope the Bears, because that's my team, I hope the Bears are taking notes on how they were able to stop Micah Parsons that game, because due to the fact that he wasn't able to get any sacks that game, I think the Bears should take a lesson or two, and they should also take a lesson with the fact that the Eagles also really utilize their RPOs in the final minutes of the game, or the final drive. That final drive that they had was, 7 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And they took time, and they ended up doing a great job. Very good RPO plays, and Anthony Brown had issues with coverage in the end zone. So I hope that the Bears take a lesson to utilize the ground game and see where it goes.
I'm excited about Thursday night. Finally, we have a good Thursday night game. We've got Tampa Bay against Baltimore.
Oh,
Tampa Bay might fall to 3-5, and then Sunday night we've got the Bills and the Packers. End of this week, we might have the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, might have the Bucks with Tom Brady, both being 3-5.
You know what? I hope that the Bills bust the Packers' ass.
And I am a huge
Lamar
Jackson fan.
Yeah.
I love Lamar Jackson.
We're going for the Ravens, and we're going for the Packers over here.
Yeah.
What about you?
Ravens favored by 1.5. Man, I would tease that into a plus 300 territory. Lay 10 points, man. The Ravens are going to kill them.
And Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback.
He really is.
He really is.
He has moments where he's still young, though. He still makes some mistakes, but he has gotten better every single year that he has been a quarterback in the league. Every
Still
single year
young,
he's gotten better.
and he was an MVP and a top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. It's time for what? Can we get to rapid fire, or should we go straight to this and that?
No. We're going to do lightning round.
Let's do lightning round.
Okay, so the way that lightning round is going to work, this is a brand new segment that we're trying out here. It's a 30-second timer, right? The first one, and I'll let you know what it is going to be Britney Griner, okay? And with her appeal being denied. So this is basically a hot take. Let's see if we can get some good TikTok, Facebook content here. So what we're going to do is, Carolina, you got 30 seconds. And then when you hit 30, you got to stop. And Michael Jimenez has 30 seconds to give the hot take on Britney Griner.
Go.
Okay, so you'll see the clock will start. So look at the screen in front of you. And when it starts, go for it.
Okay, Britney Griner, the way I feel about her appeal request getting denied, this isn't a surprise to me because the Russian government is using her as a political pawn. We all know this. And for usually people who have these offenses in Russia get out within a few months. The fact that she's being detained for 9 years, the American hostage division of the FBI already said that this is a political pawn. I'm not surprised that she had her appeal denied.
When they make fun of the Baylor Bears, they say, sucks to be you. And she is a former Baylor Bear, and it sucks to be her right now. Not surprised that her appeal was denied. And I'm not going to say anything bad about her or what she did, because it is awful the way that they're treating her, and she never should have been imprisoned. But all those negotiations, giving up arms dealers and all of these different things for her is not worth it. I hate to say it. It just sucks to be her.
All right, next. Cowboys break into the top 5 defenses. Carolina, hit it.
They're top 5 in the power rankings this week for the NFL, and I am totally on board with why they are top 5. But I kind of disagree with the Bengals on number 5. I know we're talking about Cowboys, but I think that should really be the Giants. They have a better record than the Cincinnati Bengals, and they've beaten teams that I think are a lot more stronger. I think the power rankings this week did the Giants a disservice. I think the NFC East is the strongest, and Dallas Cowboys are right where they need to be, but power rankings are doing the Giants a disservice. That's where I'm at with that.
So I heard this earlier today on the NFL Network saying that the Cowboys were a top 5 defense. And I thought to myself at the time, they're really good, but top 5? Nah. And as I was driving, I was thinking to myself, okay, let's name the 5 that are better than the Cowboys. And I can only think of 2 names, the Bills and the Eagles. I don't buy the Chiefs at number 3. I don't buy the Bengals at 5. I think the Cowboys are the 3rd best defense right now and have the ability to be 1 or 2 when the season's done. They added some strength at defensive tackle this week. Michael Parsons gets better by the week.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Hey, this is actually pretty good. I'm proud of you two. I'm proud of you two. Like, first time ever. This is a good little segment here. All right, next one. Aaron Rodgers is deciding to be a butthead.
He's criticizing. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers recently went on the Pat McAfee show and criticized his team, saying that they're not playing their best, and he's getting a lot of backlash for it. I think it's one thing to criticize your team, maybe on the podium, or maybe if you criticize them behind closed doors. He didn't mention any names in that podcast, but to criticize them in public when you are the leader of a team and you should be, being that person to keep things private. I don't think that sets the tone, especially when your performance hasn't been that good as well. I mean, you're really setting the tone to make yourself look bad in front of the whole team.
How can I trust Aaron Rodgers when he goes on the Pat McAfee show to begin with? Okay, I never met Pat McAfee, but I saw him on Radio Row at the Super Bowl. The guy looks like he stinks. Okay, he just looks like someone who just smells. But Aaron Rodgers going out there saying that they need to have some of their starters go to the bench and have some of the bench players come up because they're committing fouls or penalties or making errors 1 out of 5 plays is kind of ridiculous because he's also to blame for their missteps.
Yo.
Great job, everybody.
All right, good segment. Carolina, I think we hold on to this one.
Yeah, this is a keeper. I like
All
this
right,
segment.
cool.
Okay.
All right, so moving quickly on, we're up against time. Y'all have done a great job talking to each other, hanging out. We have
fun,
this.
right?
Yeah.
We have this or that.
This is everybody's favorite segment of the week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We got Robert Sanchez, Ramon Mata, and we have Frank Valdez. Thank you guys for tuning in. And everybody on our Twitter live stream, thank you all. This or that is our favorite segment of the week. So we got to start.
So what I'm going to want to do is this first one is specifically for Mr. Michael Jimenez. So, Michael, I'm going to want you to lean into the middle so you can see yourself on the screen there.
Okay.
And let's give us a this or that.
So how does this work? How does this work?
You either go with this or that. He's going to present 2 items to you, and you tell us whether you want to go with this or that and why.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
Confused, but I'll do it.
Let's do it.
So the first one is Rob Thompson or Rudy Day. This or that. Which one is your this or your that?
Wow. You guys absolutely suck. I love both of these guys.
You have to pick one.
You know what? I will take that, okay? And the reason why I say Rudy J is because Rudy J is like the horse whisperer to me when it comes to sports talk radio. Rob does a fantastic job of guiding me and coaching me. So he tells me like how to block and tackle. But Rudy J, that part of it is how to internalize it and mentally break it down. Some of the things that he said to me months ago, I still think about now, and it has helped me along the way. So for that reason, I'm taking that.
All right.
I'm glad that wasn't mine. That was a tough one.
Okay, another tough one for you. Kanye West or R. Kelly?
Okay, is this one for Carolina?
No, this is for you.
It's all you, homie.
Oh my God, I love 12 Play so much.
You still listen to R. Kelly?
No, I don't. I have a
don't
hard
lie.
time playing. I have a hard
Don't
time.
lie. He listens to R. Kelly by himself.
I believe I can fly.
I believe I can touch the
I
sky.
had 3 12 Play CDs back in the day from Columbia House and BMG Music. You get the penny, you tape it on, you mail it in, and then they screw your credit because you don't pay. And they're like, all you got to do is buy 8 other ones at $34.99, but the first 13 are free.
So you're going with R. Kelly?
Yeah, I would always go with R. Kelly. But the thing is that like, it's just more nostalgic to me to say R. Kelly, but I can't say that because he was talking about kids, but one of those kids was Aaliyah. Oh my God, I loved Aaliyah back in the day. So I will take this, even though Kanye West is a jackass. The fact of the matter is, can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
About Kanye West?
Okay.
Involving my family.
That's
My dad is 80 years old. Or he's gonna be 80 years old, and actually he is 80. And I remember I had gotten divorced and was getting remarried, and my dad and I were driving on 410 between Ingram Road and Bandera Road. I know exactly where I was. I was going towards Bandera, and Gold Digger was on. And the line, the 18 years, she has one of your kids, she's got you for 18 years. My dad looked at me and goes, "Ay, that is just so true." And like he internalized it as like he felt the lyrics. And he wasn't saying anything about me or my wife or anything. He just felt it. Like it got to his soul. And my dad was 70 years old, hearing that for the first time. It was amazing.
Okay,
That's great. That's a great story.
So let's make it clear to the listeners.
I'm taking this.
You're taking Kanye West.
Yes, for right
Okay.
now, yes.
And I'm just gonna throw my opinion in this. They're both from Chicago, which sucks, right? Because they're great musical artists, but like personally, they have so many issues. I'm gonna go with I don't know. I Believe I Can Fly was my favorite song growing up. I love Space Jam, so give me R. Kelly just for that song. Nothing else.
All right. So you're going with who again, Carolina?
I'm going with R. Kelly.
Oh Lord.
I mean, just because of the I Believe
No.
I Can Fly song. That's
He
it.
touches kids.
Oh, okay, well then I'm gonna go with Kanye.
He diddles-
Okay, I thought he just. I don't even want to get into what he did.
No, listen. I have
I
not
didn't watch
listened.
a documentary, nothing like that. I really don't know what.
No,
happened.
I read the report years ago.
Okay.
It was an investigative report before anything else came out. And I literally, that's one of the few people I have seriously canceled.
Okay, so let me give. I don't know what to do. This is hard.
R. Kelly coming out with the Shaggy defense wasn't me.
Okay.
It wasn't great. It wasn't me.
So I can't enjoy the I Believe I Can Fly song. Like I like that song. That's
Probably the only song.
the only reason why I'm picking it.
Yeah, because it's not sexual in nature.
Yeah, that's
it's
probably the only song, and it's been covered and stuff. That's probably the only one.
That's why I can't enjoy Michael Jackson, by the way.
Oh,
I
I
think he's
still,
a queen.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay, all right,
we're gonna,
we're
yeah.
let's
No,
get too
we'll be
deep.
fighting in here.
I like this segment. This
Okay.
is interesting.
We got the last one,
Yeah.
right?
Hey, how corporate does. Next week he'll have this segment on. Right. I got a new segment, guys.
Oh hell no! You better not take our
I don't
segment.
see no trademark.
All right, we got two more to go. Rocky or Creed?
You know what? Okay, first of all, I love the fact that young people can go watch Creed and not have seen any of the Rocky movies.
Exactly.
And live the lives that we lived back in the late 70s, 80s, and early 90s watching this. I didn't watch
And
a lot
sing a great movie also. Creed was excellent.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I'm going to choose Rocky for the sake, just for the purpose that I'm going to choose Rocky simply because I grew up with that. I didn't watch a lot of movies growing up, but Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5, I saw all the time. I will take Rocky. I got to run up the Rocky steps last week in Philadelphia. It's harder than it looks. Those steps are wide. It's like triple jumping the entire time you're doing it. But nothing wrong with Creed. Michael B. Jordan's amazing.
Yeah, I got you.
Those
I got
movies
you.
are great.
Okay, so
And Rocky 4 is my favorite. of the
before we
Rockies.
go to the last
I've
one,
never seen either.
before we go to the last one, I have a question for you, Michael.
Yeah.
At the Super Bowl, you lived 5 minutes away from Media Row, and you got lost every single time.
Every day.
How in the hell do you get lost when you're 5 minutes from an hotel? How'd you get lost?
Okay, well, 3 of the nights was because we had been drinking the night before, and I didn't remember, right? And I had like 4 hours sleep, and then I'm shuttling Rudy J and Rob Thompson back over. But what ended up happening was all the lights were out. So, here in town, everything closes, but the lights are still on. You have the neon lights and whatnot. Over there in that neighborhood, they would all turn off. I don't know if they were conserving energy or what. So because of that, I didn't have landmarkers of there, like, oh, here's that restaurant, I need to turn here. So Rob was like, look for the street names, and it just didn't hit me.
So between being drunk and the lights not being on, that's legit.
Dude, that Jaws, was it Ron Jaworski and Mike Ditka party? Epic.
Oh my god, that sounds like fun.
I'm having a drink with Byron Scott from the Lakers.
Oh wow.
I'm meeting NFL players. It was
A kid in a candy store.
Open bar, cigars everywhere. There were joints everywhere. There's all sorts of things. So that's California, baby, and it was free, and it was all there.
I'm hearing about guys. Were there any women there?
It was
Right? Where the women at though?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like only so much sausage I want at my party.
It was about 80-20.
Really?
Yeah.
80 women?
80%, 80%
women?
guys there. But what skewed it though was the fact that half of the guys that were there were former athletes. So, I mean, they weren't inviting a lot of female athletes out there. There was a bunch of dudes out there that were in the Hall of Fame and whatnot. And then you add the media on top of it. It was 80-20.
It sounds cool.
They need more women there.
Yeah,
They
it
need
sounds
more
cool,
women
but I
there.
couldn't go to a party where it's 80% dudes. I can't do Sausage Fest.
Oh, well, no, but it's 80% dudes. But it's like, hey, look, there's Byron Scott. Hey, look, there's Emmitt Smith. Hey, look, there's this other athlete.
I get it, but I like women way too much. Speaking of women, last but not least, Beyonce or Rihanna.
Oh, this is easy.
Really?
This one's the easiest question you've asked.
Why?
This is easier. This was easy.
Beyonce is the queen.
The answer is Rihanna.
What?
Okay, I have been about the distance between me and you right now, what, about 10 feet, 12
Okay.
feet? I've been that far away from Rihanna in my life, okay? This was back in Umbrella Rihanna. This was 2009, 2010. I was at the Billboard Music Awards in Las Vegas, and I saw Rihanna from about 10 feet away, and she was the most striking person I had ever seen in my life. It was like a walking statue of beauty that walked by. Rihanna, I'm sorry, I like her music better than Beyonce. She doesn't seem to be the diva that Beyonce is. She is diva-ish, but not as bad as Beyonce.
She's cool.
Beyonce's going into the whole Diana Ross type of.
Yeah, Beyonce's
of
like
thing.
the artist. She's like a Van Gogh painting artist, where Rihanna is kind of like a spray paint artist from time to time.
Yeah, and Rihanna, I mean, she can
Or
still.
graffiti artist.
That's a good way
Rihanna
to
can.
describe her.
Rihanna's a billionaire. So is Beyonce. But Rihanna is a billionaire, but she can still kick it. You know, she can still kick it and have credibility. I remember a story about her.
So wait a minute, but hold up. Beyonce can still kick it.
It's different, man.
But are you saying like Beyonce doesn't seem like a woman of the people anymore?
Right.
However, Rihanna does.
Yeah, when Beyonce came out with Destiny's Child, she was amazing. Loved her.
She's always been amazing.
I jumped off of the Beyonce train probably around 2008. Oh my God, that's when Rihanna came around.
That's when you saw Rihanna. You became a Navy member. You became a member of the Navy. Look, let me just say this about Rihanna. I would pick. That's hard to pick, but I know you love Rihanna, and that's something that one of your listeners wanted to know. Why do you like girly music? What the hell's going on? Why do you like Rihanna, Paramore? What's up with that?
Okay, well, first of all, I am a girl dad. So, you know, I'm assuming that when you were growing up, you liked female singers as well.
Yeah.
Probably more than the guys did, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, you know, my daughter, who's 19 years old at LSU, you know, she liked the whole punk thing.
Yeah.
And that was Paramore, Avril Lavigne, and musicians like that. My daughter now, who's in 5th grade, loves Olivia Rodrigo, right? So because of that, I get introduced to that type of music. I have no problem listening to whatever genre is out there. Growing up, though, you know, if you ask me, like, who are your favorite musicians? Growing up, I would say that Stone Temple Pilots was my favorite. One of my favorite albums growing up was Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan. Soundgarden. So I like a lot of 90s rock, but I also love late 80s, early 90s New Jack Swing. So Belle Biv DeVoe, you know, I used to, you know, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, Ralph, and Johnny, all of those guys. I loved all of that. Tony, you know, they're coming to town. That gets me excited. So I liked all that. And then you had the gangster rap of the early 90s, you know, when you had Dre and you had NWA and Eazy-E and Cube and all that. That was pretty cool. So I listen to all sorts of things. So it's not just like one genre that I do. But when it comes to female artists, though, I have no problem with it. Toni Braxton from the 90s. I was huge into Toni Braxton. And then you take a look at also the 90s R&B from Shy to Boys to Men, Jodeci, John B.
Shy, If I Ever Fall in Love Again, is an amazing song.
The vocals on that
Oh.
It sounds like they're in a bathroom, like a school bathroom, singing to each other, like "Stand By Me," right?
That is one of
that's a
those
great
songs
song,
that I
yeah.
can't sing a lick, but I will try each and every time
Yeah.
to hit the notes.
Do you remember? Oh my God, John B. John B.
Oh, yeah, I love John
The
B.
white R&B singer, amazing. There's a song called "Time After Time" that he sings. One of my favorite songs growing up.
Very, very, very great show, Jimenez. Thank you so much for coming on into the studio today. We're here at VodPod Media. Gylan, thank you so much for producing a great show today. You did an incredible job. Love everything you do. And Jimenez, you have now officially been to our podcast, and you are now in a league of your own. Congratulations, Jimenez. Thank you so much for coming by.
been fun.
Let everybody know where they can find you at.
Yeah,
Plug
on
it.
Twitter at MikeESPNSA, San Antonio Sports Star. I'm on halftime, 94.1 FM. For those of you who still do AM, that's AM 1250. The show's from 12 to 2, Monday through Friday, and we do sports. We have a pop culture segment, and we start talking about nostalgic music and whatnot along the way, but it's a fun show.
Fine job today, Jimenez. Thank you so much for coming here today. And I am Carolina Teague, and we are out. I'll see you guys not this week not next week because I'm covering the Spurs game, but the week after. After that, Wednesdays. There's no Spurs games on Wednesday, so I'll start being here every single Wednesday after next Wednesday. I look forward to being on your show tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yep. So see you later, guys. Bye.